What if you've self-abandoned to the point of no return? What if it started out as, I'm just trying to be nice or give this person or situation the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to be open-minded. And then you got yourself to a place of, I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know how to go back. And this does not feel good. This does not feel in alignment. This does not feel right to me. And there's a way. And I'm going to share that with you in this video because I know how restricting and this place of, okay, I don't know what to do and I don't know how to get out. And it feels like, well, I got myself, and we go into that self-blame. I got myself into the situation, but that whole I'm just trying to be nice and give them the benefit of the doubt isn't working anymore. Okay, so how do we turn it around? How do we reconnect with ourselves? We build that self-trust, that sovereignty, that discernment. We feel good and strong in our core. Okay, if this is something that you want, I'm going to walk you through step by step. Let's dive right in. Gosh, I know this feeling when we just want to give the person the benefit of the doubt or the situation, or I'm sure they mean well. And then before you know it, even if they are well-meaning, it just goes out of hand, right? It just, it escalates and you don't know how to get out anymore. And it feels like you've self-abandoned and you don't trust yourself anymore and you don't know how to create a boundary because we're so far in, right? What do we do in those situations? Let me first address why that's happening. So you may be feeling that in your solar plexus. You may, thinking of that situation, you may feel a contraction. And first, I want you to come into the right relationship with contractions because we go like, oh, I don't want to feel that. Think of a birthing process. The contractions are a really important part. There's no birthing, there's no creation without contractions. Okay? I like to see this as waves of the ocean. It's like it goes forward when the tide is rising. It goes forward, then it goes back. The ocean doesn't think, what's wrong with me? Why am I stepping back? It's going to go further. And then it goes back again, and then it's going to go further. Okay? And this is the tide rising. Similarly with your contractions. When we feel small, when we go inward, oh God, why did I do that? Oh God, I abandoned myself, right? I broke my own trust. I'm out of my own integrity. And this is not an invitation to go live in a cave somewhere or to never speak to this person again or just to sweep it under the rug, pretend like nothing's ever happened and nothing's happening. It is happening. It's happening because you feel it. And if we're just sweeping it under the rug, as many people do, but I do hope that if you're watching this video, you're not one of those people, we get to look at it because you can sweep it under the rug. It will come back. Different places, different faces, right? Different people, same energetic blueprint. Because we're encouraged to release it. We're encouraged to work through it. So first key is coming into the right relationship with contraction. There's nothing wrong. This is an invitation for you to grow, for you to evolve. That's a good thing. There's a birthing. Okay? There's the tide is rising. That's a good thing. All right? So that's number one. Now let's get practical. Taking a deep inhale in, first of all, into the body, right? It's like what I just spoke about. You may still be in this place of contraction, thinking about that situation or about that person or whatever came up for you with the topic of this video. Opening up your chest, relaxing your shoulders, feeling abundant, feeling powerful, feeling in control because you're about to come into that place. You're about to rebuild your self-trust. Okay? You're about to really thrive. So as you're coming into the body, you may want to bring physical touch, both hands on the heart, one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, bringing physical touch. And just saying to yourself, this is me. Bring awareness to this. This is me tuning into my power. This is me tuning into my discernment. This is me claiming my power back. Okay? And that's a really delicious feeling if you're able to tune into it fully. So what do we do in these situations? I had an incredible situation, which is exactly this. There was a circle, a group event. And the way these run usually is that, everyone sits in a circle. And the organizer That's the vision that the organizer had, that everyone's going to sit in a circle, everyone's together. And there was this couple who asked to join in, that they would like to also share something about the practices that they're doing. And the organizer thought, great, right? It's like the more the merrier, bring something new and exciting to the group. This is fantastic. And as the event began, they all sat in the circle. They did the opening meditation, the opening practice, and then that couple began to speak, and they said, actually, you know what? Let's sit in such a way that everyone's facing us, okay? Which felt off to the organizer, but they wanted to give the people the benefit of the doubt. They wanted to be nice. And in that moment, in a very subtle way, they disowned. They rejected their own boundaries. They didn't respect them. They weren't in integrity with the vision that they had for the event, all right? But again, it's very subtle, right? It's like, I just want to be nice. I'm sure there's, purpose to this. A lot of the spiritual people go into like, I'm sure this is meant to be, or I have to learn something from this, right? But we know because it doesn't feel quite in alignment. We know because it doesn't feel quite in alignment, right? And so a few minutes in, something felt really off, and it kind of turned into, instead of this circle of everyone being equal, it turned into this like preachy thing where the couple was doing their thing and speaking and saying a mantra, and everyone was just kind of like the audience of that, which was not at all the intention for the event. And so the organizer, after a while, you're like, whoa, what's happening? And they felt that in their body. This isn't right. And where is it that I'm not comfortable sharing my voice and actually speaking like, hey, this is off? Or how do I get the event back? And how do I at this point, like, not interrupt, and I don't want other people to feel uncomfortable. And here's what happened for them. Realizing that discomfort, it's really, what are they gonna think, right? Or like, oh, I'm out of control in this event, or they're gonna judge me, or it's too late to go back now. It's too late to create that boundary now, right? And in this context, it's like the couple totally knew what they were doing. Sometimes people don't, right? Sometimes they don't mean harm. They don't mean that in a very, conscious way. Sometimes just a misunderstanding. But we tell ourselves a story of, it's too late for me to go back, right? It's too late for me to set that boundary. Whatever, let's just play this out and it'll be fine. I'll do it differently next time. And I'll do it differently next time is great. And if you need that space, that's perfectly fine. However, that I'll do better next time often translates as, I'll start working out from Monday, or I'll start my diet from Monday, right? It's like, if you are, and this is key, if you are the person who is a leader, who is empowered, who is in their discernment, who is in their authority, why would you wait for the next event to do that? Why would you wait for Monday? If you are now the person who eats healthy, a person who cares for their body, who feels amazing in their body, like, yes, I'm so freaking excited to be that right now. Why would you wait until Monday? That makes no sense. And similarly, it's like, okay, well, let me self-abandon myself a little bit more, and the next event I'll be more comfortable. No. And so the organizer, the host of this event, like, went from the back and whispered to the couple, like, hey guys, this is not at all what the event was supposed to be about. So please wrap this up. You guys got 1 minute and we're going to go back to how it was. And giving them the opportunity to do that, right? To like keep face. And also very clearly speaking and honestly and authentically, like owning that, not having shame about that experience, but owning. And speaking to the group that these are the little ways in which we self-abandon. And the importance of creating that safety within us. It wasn't about other people judging. It was about the story, the internal story that they created for themselves. Oh, I can't go back now. Let's just play this out until the end. I have a similar story where my kids and I went to some relatives to visit, just incredibly, such wholehearted, kind people. And they wanted to give my kids a very generous gift. And my kids created this little art gallery experience, and they're like, oh, okay, I want to sell my paintings. And our relatives were like, okay, well, I want to buy it. But the amount was really uncomfortable for my kids. It was a large amount for them, who we have very, different at their age. It's like different numbers. And so that felt like overwhelming, and I felt uncomfortable in that situation. And as that whole thing unfolded, and my kids were playing the whole art gallery, and the relatives were buying those paintings for an amount that was way too much, and the kids were getting excited and like, whoa, what if I ask for even more, right? And I just felt a pit in my stomach. There was a conflict between the kids, and I was like, this is not going well. And it ended in tears by them, ended into a whole conflict. The relatives felt, they just wanted to do the kind thing. They felt really uncomfortable and like, okay, let's just pretend this didn't happen. And what I spoke to both sides, spoke to the children explaining what happened. I spoke to the relatives and say, hey, with two separate groups, can we have a replay? Let's have a redo. And the children loved that idea, because like, okay, what if I didn't mess up? What if I get to, like, how would I have wanted this to go? What would be the perfect scenario? And this is what I want you to take away from this. In those situations where it's like, let's just sweep it under the rug. It's like, no, what if we can have a redo? What would your perfect scenario look like? And the problem is that a lot of people don't ask themselves this. They just go into, okay, this is happening. I don't like what's happening. Let's just pretend that this didn't happen. Or let's work through what happened. Okay, I can be at peace with it. But they don't ask, how would I have wanted the situation to go? And that's a really important question. Because first of all, you're creating your future with that. You're creating your reality with that, right? Getting clear on what you want. But also, what if I can have that right now? Like, what feeling, instead of what I felt, like that discomfort, like where the kids getting competitive and like overwhelmed by this generosity, but not knowing how to handle that money. The relatives wanting to do the kind thing, but then feeling like they're not kind because there's a conflict because of their kindness that is coming up. It's like, no one felt good. How do we want to feel? Right? And I said, let's just have a redo. And the relatives went, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, okay, let's return the money. I'm going to speak to the children. Let's set an amount of money that feels reasonable for you. What is it that you want to give the children? We're going to assign the prices that are, reasonable, and for everyone to be okay and for there not to be a conflict. Let's have a redo of the whole art gallery play. Okay. And yes, this was with children. But the truth is, we get to do that in our own lives instead of sweeping it under the rug, instead of creating these in shamanic practices. This is what we do. We go into shamanic journeys. How do I rescript the past? And yes, you can rescript it and have a very different energetic memory. But what if you don't have to do that? What if you don't have to just do it energetically? What if you get to bring that into the physical? Because the fun of this experience is creating in the physical. So similarly to that organizer of the event, right? It could have been like, oh, okay, I just don't like this, whatever. That's the thing. It's easier. It's easier to not make a fuss about it. It's easier to just say, whatever, it's fine. It's fine. If you have to repeat, it's fine. You're probably not fine. And true sovereignty, true strength comes from this, I've got me. It's okay if it's uncomfortable. I get to ask myself the question of, how do I want to feel? What do I want the situation to look like? And I get to take action to move towards that. So that organizer was like, wait a second, no, it's also easier to put other people first. So what came up for the organizer of the event was, okay, I'm being of disservice right now if I'm allowing these people to trespass my boundaries, to kind of hijack the whole event. I'm also doing a disservice to all the people who came for this event. This is very disrespectful to them, because this is not what it was supposed to be about. We're supposed to all sit in a circle as complete equals. It's not two people preaching and everyone else listening. That's not what this is supposed to be about. And I'm doing the disservice to them. To be honest, this came up for me as well with the kids, because it's like I just want to go like, oh my God, can this situation just be over? Can we just say, okay, thank you so much for being generous, kids, you know what, get over it next. And instead it was like, no, I want to teach them something better. I want to teach them that they can always have a redo and a replay if they're not comfortable with something. And whether it's a conversation, whether it's something that happened in interaction, you don't have to pretend. that you can have the strength within you to go to the other person and say, hey, you know what? That didn't feel quite right. Can we have a redo of that conversation? That I didn't like how that situation played out. This is what I want to feel instead. Can we do this together? And sometimes it may be a no. And this is where we get to do that inner work with ourselves. Okay, if that situation were to repeat itself, do I know how to hold myself? Do I know what to do? What would I have said instead? But more often than not, especially if it's a situation, first of all, someone who didn't feel maybe, negative or didn't have anything about that situation, they would be more than happy to help you feel better about it, right? And sometimes it's both people affected. Like I said, it was the children for me, it was me, and it was the relatives. It's like all three of us were uncomfortable. And it's like, everybody wanted to feel better, right? So everyone was on board with the redo. If you take nothing away from this, take away the fact that it's not too late. When you feel that distrust, when you feel that rupture within yourself, it didn't happen to you. And you get to take responsibility for it, and you get to create that intimacy, that connection again, okay? And again, whether it's another person, whether it's a situation, it's really about your connection with you. Am I showing up for me? This didn't feel right within me. Am I doing something about it? Am I courageous enough to ask for that redo? Letting me know, what are you hearing me say down below in the comments? How comfortable are you from 1 to 10, 1 not at all, 10 absolutely, to ask for redos? To say, hey, that didn't feel quite good. Can we have a replay of this? Okay. How comfortable are you with this? It's just bringing to awareness. If you're open to sharing a number in the comments, great. If not, just write it down for yourself. This is really important to bring to awareness. I thank you so much for being here. If you want to dive deeper into this, there's information in a description. And taking a deep inhale in to your heart, to your body, remembering who you are, remembering how powerful you are. Remembering that, first of all, again, bringing it to the beginning, contractions are part of the expansion. That's a good thing. But also that those fears or those insecurities or those like, not enoughness or lack, or maybe I just shouldn't say anything. That's not you. That's why it feels so icky, because it's not you, okay? And having the courage to see what's on the other side of that.